The grade one, $1 million Whitney is a win and you're in race for the Breeders' Cup Classic. It's also the producer of Champions, Improbable, Gun Runner, Honor Code, all champion older male in recent years and winners of the Whitney. Joe Kristufek and Scott Shapiro. And Scott, a compact field of 5 here, but the major star power, I would say, in the handicap division is present.
No doubt about it, Joe. One of the biggest races of the year, one of the biggest races in New York for sure. And a little bit maybe of a separator here as we start to think about the Breeders' Cup Classic and champion older horse, as we have 2 of the leading contenders in this race amongst others. We also have a filly in here. I think this race came up strong. Like you said, the compact field, not ideal for wagering, but we'll make the most of it.
You look at Knicks Go, the morning line favorite, the for sure pace setter in the Whitney, and he does have a previous race at Saratoga, but it came way back in his 2-year-old season, second start of his career in the Sanford. Obviously not going to hold that against him. That's before Knicks Go was Knicks Go, and boy did he go last time out in the Prairie Meadows Cornhusker, a Grade 3 race after a disappointing effort in the Met Mile. He was on top of his game in his most recent start.
No doubt about it. When this horse is at its best and loose on the lead, he is one tough customer like he was at Prairie Meadows, but he meets a much, much, much tougher field than he did that day. Joel Rosario back aboard here. Like you said, the likely or obvious pace setter barring any unforeseen circumstances. My biggest concern here is, other than the increase in competition, is that 1 1/8 at Saratoga is legit. I do think this horse is probably best at maybe a 2-turn mile, 2-turn mile and a 16th type situation. I did think the 1 turn probably compromised his chances a little bit in the Met Mile. He'll be loose. I'm hoping he gets a little tired in the lane as a 6-5 favorite.
Yeah, he did win the Pegasus Invitational at 1 1/8. Obviously, the Breeders' Cup Classic is 1 1/4, so he kind of has to sort of prove himself in this kind of 1 1/8 race, which is going to be a test for him for sure. Maxfield, Scott, 7 for 8 lifetime, yet he's the second choice in the morning line. And I know this is a horse that you've tried to beat in many of his recent races to no avail. What are you going to do with him this time around as the second choice?
Yeah, the second choice. I did beat him in the Santa Anita handicap as the third choice, but you're right. I have tried to take this horse on, mostly because he gets hammered at the windows, and there's been holes to poke or punch into this horse, but not really anymore. But full disclosure, I am backing him, so maybe a good time to jump off of Maxfield. I know you've been very high, but I just think this horse has continued to get better. I don't have any concerns with the arduous 1 1/8 at Saratoga for Maxfield. He draws well, although probably not a big issue in a 5-horse field. Probably going to be a little closer to the pace because I don't think he can afford to let Knicks Go get away. Maybe Swiss Skydiver, we'll talk about in a moment, will be more aggressive. Maybe not. If Knicks goes loose, he'll be tough, but I do think Maxfield's coming in this race and set for another big effort.
It's a fascinating race from a tactical perspective. And you mentioned Swiss Skydiver, Scott. One of the best efforts of her career did come at Saratoga. It was in the Alabama, going 1 1/4. She won for fun. She was geared down in the final 16th of a mile. And I'm sure that visual is in Kenny McPeak's head when he decided to run this top filly against the boys in this very difficult spot.
Yeah, she's up against it here, in my opinion. She's run 3 below 100 Brisnet speed ratings. I'm not sure if she's the same filly, but Kenny McPeak, you got to first off tip your hat to him because he is a guy that will take chances. He makes things more interesting in these stakes races. He did it in the Preakness. You got to love how he's willing to take on all comers. I would think that they would want to go to the lead or right off of Knicks Go. They're not going to make the lead against it, but be aggressive. But the decision to go to Irad Ortiz, not necessarily a Sen rider, maybe suggests otherwise. We'll see. I'm looking forward to seeing how she does in here, but I do think, like I said, that she's up against it.
Silver State defeated Knicks Go in the Met Mile in his most recent start. He has won 5 races in a row. At this point, has a reputation of being a really good horse in this division, but is 1 1/8 his best game, Scott. I really think the 1-turn mile with an honest pace to kick at is what this horse does best. He's going to prove it one way or the other to us on Saturday.
I agree. I was on this horse early, and then I've tried to beat him in his last couple starts. He's a tough customer, and he likes to get to the wire first when he's in a battle. That's definitely a positive, but I'm with you. I think his best races or his best game is at the 1-turn mile type distance with a hot pace. I'm just wondering, this horse has gotten good this year. Can I somehow cash my Kentucky Derby futures wager at over 60 to 1 on him, or maybe get 10 to 1 on it? little early on that, I guess.
Yeah, he certainly has developed nicely as a 4-year-old for Steve Asmussen, who, does really well with his older horses, and longevity is certainly one of the strengths of his barn. By my standards, Scott, looking for that elusive grade one win. Looks like he's in a tough spot to get it in this particular race, but he did run second in the Whitney last year.
He sure did. Maybe a little better on paper than it looks. Tom's D'Etat was taken out of his game at the start that day. Kind of an odd run race, a small field again, but got to give you credit to Brett Calhoun and Allied Racing for trying this horse against the best. He's probably a cut below, but again, a 5-horse field, a lot can happen, weird trips in these races. Wouldn't be shocked if he hits the board, but I would be shocked if he beat all 4 of these.
A fascinating race from many different perspectives, including how it's going to play out tactically, Scott. I think Nick Sko is going to make the lead. I think he's going to go slow enough. I think they're going to take a couple of shots at him at different points in the race. But when all is said and done, based on the early pace scenario, which I do believe will be moderate to slow, I do think he's able to complete the gate to wire voyage.
Yeah, if I'm on Nick Sko, though, I don't want Joel to go too slow. I want him to use his speed and open up a little and make these horses chase instead of keeping them in the race. But I'm with you. There's not a lot of speed signed on to push them, so it'll be on Joel Rosario to manage things. Very intriguing race. I think Nick Sko or Maxfield will likely win this, but it wouldn't be shocking if Silver State found the wire in a kind of perfectly timed ride once again by Ricardo Santana Jr.
A fascinating edition of the Grade 1 Whitney, part of a huge stakes program on Saturday. Make sure you take advantage of the promotional offers for Saratoga all season long at twinspires.com and the trusty TwinSpires app. Get involved, activate them, and best of luck on a Super Saturday program at the spa.